Little box pops up on your screen and you'll see the word got it, and you got to click the word got it, and then that'll clear that off your screen. And then we are ready to go. All righty. Okay, so upright seat. Again, you see this setup, chairs somewhat far apart, so they're not too narrow, but still within reach. And then once you're in your chair that you're sitting in, scoot forward to the front edge of that chair so that your buttock bones are planted on the chair, but your legs, for the most part, are out beyond the chair. So a lot of times we sit too far back in our chairs and we get this slouch in our spine and our pelvis, and it kind of ruins the integrity of our upright structure. So just this simple act of sitting up tall is a...
There's a reason he wanted to have this chair. You can ask him.
That's like homework. All right, so I'm muting everybody. Feel free, if you have a question, to unmute and ask a question and then remute. So we've got our central upright intact. And then we practice deep breathing because...
Excuse me.
Pardon me. Oh, Beatrice. Do I want wheels on the chair that I'm sitting in? Or do I want it to be not movable?
Are you asking a question, Paul?
I am.
What? Say it again, please.
Do I want a chair with wheels on it for the
No, I have a chair with wheels, but ideally you don't. You just have a sturdy chair and two other
Okay, I'm going to change.
And that's for safety's sake and whatever. But if it's working for you, you know, it's okay if it has wheels, but you know, not ideal. Okay. And Alicia, your camera is off. And again, if you want to, if that's by design, that's fine. But in the bottom left corner could be your start video if you want me to be able to see what you're doing. Look like you almost did it there. You're still turned off. Oh, there you go. Perfect. All righty. So again, I'm gonna. Okay. So we've got our upright seat. Chinese term for this is zhongjung, or central upright. And the important part about it is that Tai Chi, a big sort of emphasis in Tai Chi is relaxation, softening and relaxing. But if we don't have our central upright intact, then when we relax, all we really do is slouch our posture worse, right? So if I'm in this posture and then I relax, I just get more and more crumpled. So pelvis, tip it a little bit forward, chin down, but think about like you're trying to push the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. So your chin has to be down, chin down, but crown up. Because a lot of times when I say crown up, people lift their chin like this, and that doesn't accomplish what we're looking for. So chin down, crown up, sitting at the edge of your chair, hands resting, and then we breathe. In through the nose, big full breath in the nose. Hold the breath in for a moment. And then exhale, breath out through the nose or the mouth. And then again, in through the nose, nice full breath. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So just a very basic reclaiming of the thoroughness of your breath. And this is something everybody suffers from. Across all age groups, we don't pay attention to the breathing, and so our breath becomes sort of haphazard. So simple practice. This is homework, especially for those of you newer to the class. If you just remember one thing from class, it's that you need to spend some time, multiple times a day, sitting upright, finding this central upright, and breathing. Long breath in, holding, smooth breath out, holding empty. Long breath in through the nostrils, out the nose or mouth. Feel all those muscles moving, the 26 different muscles of the respiratory chassis. In, holding, out, and in the nose. Make sure it's in the nose, out the mouth. But make sure you get those inhales through those nostrils. We'll do this another, let's say 10 breaths. Feel how this breath process of expand and relax gently releases the tension we hold in our body. So usually we're sort of all gripped and held, especially with Parkinson's, right? That's what Parkinson's is sort of, that's one of its main symptoms, is this sort of like frozen state. So while you're sitting safely with an upright posture, and then you breathe in, expand and stretch and open, and then exhale, melt and release and soften. And then again, think of this like a thawing out. You're thawing out that tension, that grip. And you're also inducing a down regulation of the nervous system into a resting and responding rather than reactive, right? They call that parasympathetic. So each long breath you take in, a little hold, each long smooth breath out, one after another, stacking them. The nervous system is melting, softening, relaxing. The body is relaxing and releasing. So that's a sort of prerequisite to practicing Tai Chi, is feeling this state of the body thawing out, relaxing. Let's take 5 more just like that. Sort of a slowing down process. Janona, I'm going to mute you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know him.
Yeah, you're okay. I got you. Okay, so now the next bit, joint mobilization. So our body is built of all of these moving parts, but a lot of times, especially as people age and for various other reasons, those moving parts get stuck together. And so then the body sort of loses its mobility, right? So we're going to mobilize. First movement, slide your hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back. Lift your chest and lift your chin and look up. So we're creating a arching body, a back bend in the body. Then we slide the hands forward, drop the head, round the back, straighten through the arms. And then again, slide the hands back, arching, looking up, way up. And then sliding hands forward, rounding, dropping the head. So now we're moving all 24 vertebrae, chest up, chin up, but we're also squeezing these shoulder blades back like we're cracking a walnut between the shoulder blades. And then hands go forward, head drops round the back. We're opening those shoulder blades apart. That's called retraction and protraction. Again, hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back. Look up, lift your chest and look to the ceiling as much as you can. Don't force it, but do, push it a little. And then hands forward, drop the head, round the back. Let's do that twice more. Looking up. So this point about a healthy body from the Taoist sort of Tai Chi view is changeable, movable, rather than stuck and frozen, right? So we're just moving in these shapes, creating these shapes. And last one. Now, sitting upright again. So we're back to this upright center like I talked about at the beginning, but we've now rounded and arched, rounded and arched. So ideally, we feel a little more calibrated to that center. That's in the forward and back plane. Now we do the rotational plane of movement. So listen close. Left hand goes forward to your knee. Right hand slides back, elbow back, shoulder blade back, and we turn the chest and head to the right. So we're turning. Like there's something over to the right side of you and or even behind you a little that you're turning to look at. And then switch. So you bring the hands through those movements, right hand forward, left hand back, elbow back, turn and look to your left or even behind you. Switch again. So we turn and rotate to the right. And then we turn and rotate to the left. And then we turn again. And even if you're so stiff right now that you only have a few degrees of turn in each direction, just get those degrees. So even if it's 2 degrees to the right, and then back to middle and 2 degrees to the left, and then make around you thaw out these rigid structures and tissue so that eventually they're softening, melting, and then they move easier and easier. And much of the pain we experience in the body is just this idea of stuck structure and tissue. So as we open, that pain just washes out of the system. All righty, back to middle. So again, we're back to our neutral position or our center. Then let your arms hang down alongside you. Sit up nice and tall. Keep your head up, keep your chest up. And then we lean to the right, drooping. Lift your left wrist up just to this left shoulder area and just droop. And then let's switch. We come back to the middle and droop to the left. And then back to the middle and we droop to the right. And then back to the middle and we droop to the left. And we droop to the right. Remember to be changing your weight from one buttock to the other buttock, right? So this one is empty, and then this one is empty as this one fills. And we're back to middle. Now let's unpack our upper chamber here. So shoulders forward, up, back, down, under, forward and up, back and down, forward and up, back and down, forward and up, down. Now we reverse. We go back, up, forward, down, back and up, forward, down, back, up, forward, down. Just getting that movement through the upper joints and tissue. Last one. And release. Now bend those elbows. So hands are here, but they're relaxed. Now moving from the elbows, flare the elbows out and all the way up. Then bring them down. And then bring them around in front with a light squeeze. And then down. And then out and up. And down. And around in front with a light squeeze. Remember to touch those elbows together, Alicia? So it's not just the wrists. Yeah, it's that touch of the elbows that really opens up your back. Now pull elbows back, straight back behind you. And then elbows down forward, and up with the elbows. And then we go elbows forward, down, back. And then it's down, forward, up, forward, down, back. And elbows out to the side, palms face the floor, one above, one below, so that lower hand comes under. And now hug around your own torso, closing the front. Release that open, elbows out to the side. And then the other hand under. And a nice hug. And again, open. One more of each. Hug. Open. And hug. So I see Mrs. Beatrice, you're saying, yeah, sure, great. Sounds good. Yeah, it's possible, Ms. Beatrice, that this session or this class format is a bit much currently for him, but work on that. Arms come down. Now scoot back a little bit in your chair and we lift the right knee, pull the right knee in and so sort of load it up and then push the leg away completely straight and then bring that knee to the chest again or sort of coiled up and then set the foot down. Switch, load, unload, reload, place the foot down. Load, unload, reload, down, up, push, back up, down, load, push, reload, down, push, and down. Now, right knee straight, point the foot, flex the foot, point the foot, flex the foot, point, flex, point, flex. Now we do, the foot goes in, out, in, out, in, out. One more. Now circle. So in and a point, around and back up. Circle, circle, circle. The body is built on all these circles that we've lost. A lot of people have lost the movements, go the other way. But these practices of joint mobilization help to retrain the nervous system, the brain, the joints, the tissue, everything to find those circular movements again. Set the foot down. Which is essentially what Tai Chi is at its simplest level. Other foot, point and flex. Invert, evert, a little tilt in, out, circle. Nice, thorough circles. Reverse, circle. And down. Now, scoot forward on your chair once more, all the way to that front edge. Step your feet wider apart than hip distance, so you have a little bit of extra space here. Now you'll lift your toes up, turn on the heels, and turn your toes in and your knees in. This is called internal rotation. And then lift your toes and turn everything out. External rotation, opening up this groin area, the quad, as it's called. And then we close it. Close, open, close, open. Do a few more and really notice what you want to feel is that the pelvis, spine, and rest of your body is sort of separate from these legs. So when you turn in and turn out, there's a sort of quality of nothing is impacted through your torso. So again, any tension we have, when we do this, it's going to pull the body in interesting ways. But over time, we want to just feel opening and closing can happen with no sort of yanking or pulling on the body, right? And now we're back to neutral. Now, hands are on your legs. So sort of the opposite or the inversion of that. The legs don't move, but you fold your hips and torso forward. Then sit back upright. And again, that's your torso moving from where the hips meet the legs. And then lean a little bit back, right? So we just tip a little bit back from the hips. Then we sit upright and tip forward from the hips. And then we sit upright and we tip back from the hips a little bit. And again, forward from the hips. And back. And then back to neutral. All right. So that's our sort of very rudimentary joint mobilization. Now, slide your feet back a little bit. From that same movement at the hips, arms are loose. We fold, pour the body weight out of the chair through the legs to the floor, and then push and stand vertical. Now, in order to sit down, the first thing that has to happen is this move right here. So let's all do this move just a couple of times, where I don't bend my knees. I don't bend my knees. All I'm doing is sticking the butt back and letting you notice the shoulders and head forward, the butt back, the ankles sort of stay in the middle. Then I bring everything into one line from head to shoulder to hip to knee to ankle. But then I change that from the hips, butt back, shoulders forward, and then back to standing. So now let's sit down with that same flow. Butt back, sit. Sit upright. Fold forward, rise. The powerhouse is the hips, the sort of middle of our body. And when we learn to move from the middle, we feel that we can be relaxed everywhere else so that we don't have to be adding tension. Now, don't sit in your chair, squat. Use this sinking to dangle your fingertips. Can you touch your toes? Could you even touch the floor? And then come back all the way up to standing. So we fold up, sort of like an accordion, folding in and unfolding. So this folding, all the tissue and joints folding up, they enjoy to fold and they also enjoy unfolding, right? It's a healthy sort of state of change that we want to keep available to us. Okay, now we're standing. Now come to your chair and face it. So you've got one of your chairs, you've got enough room behind you there. Now fingertips on the chair, and we're gonna rock into the toes and lift the heels way up. Come back down to the heels, rock back to them, and lift the toes up off the floor. And then lower the toes, rock forward, back into your toes and lift. And you can use the chair a lot to support you, or you could have sort of very light touch, or someday even no touch, but especially on this one going back, you gotta be very careful there. Very careful, right? Okay, and then now watch what I do here. My hands gently resting on the chair, walk back enough so that here, as I stick my butt way back, I create a stretch. It's basically downward dog in yoga, stretching the back of the legs, the back of the torso, the buttocks, and the shoulders. We get this nice just opening of the back sheath of our body. And then lift the chest up. We get to this position and then we walk back to vertical. Turn and face forward. So we're going to do a couple things today that we haven't done in previous classes, okay? So your inside leg, your right leg should be, turn that foot 5 degrees turned out. Shift your weight into that right leg, take your left foot, put it in front, with the heel touching and the toes up, okay? So I'm gonna turn a little sideways so you guys can see. Now, kind of like I just did with my down dog, stick the butt back, let your right knee bend a little, but try to keep your left leg pretty straight. Left hand slides down to the ankle if you can, and your right hand is on that chair, keeping you safe, keeping you balanced, and then bring that hand back up all the way to standing. Again, so again, the butt goes back, this folding gesture, and then slide that hand down, touch the ankle, maybe even touch the foot, and come back up. You can add an awareness of yang and yin channel. Come down the outside of your left leg, come around the toes to the inside, come up the inside all the way to the quad. Then go around the hip to the outside, folding, around, and back up. Let's do 2 more rounds. So you don't force the body, but each round you sort of fall out a little bit more, just layer by layer. All right. Now, you're up. This left foot has no body weight in it. Shift into your left leg and free your back foot and use the chair for safety. But notice what I'm doing here, and I'm going to turn sideways so you can see it. I'm tipping. I'm folding and keeping this leg up, right? So the chair is there for safety. We lean and float your left arm out. Someday, you'll feel you don't need the chair as much and you can fly the arms. So this is called Warrior 3 in yoga. But here's just a really great challenge for us to keep our middle and find that sturdiness in that single leg, right? So use the chair as much as needed. Last 2 breaths here. And then when you come up, you just lift the torso, the leg comes down, and we're back to neutral. Now we're going to change to this other side. So that first stretch exercise, turn your left foot out 5 degrees or so. Shift your weight into the left leg. Right foot out in front with the heel touching. So you got this relationship, and now you're going to let your left knee bend a little as you stick the butt back, right? Right hand slides down the leg to the ankle or even foot and smoothly up. And you can do the yang channel down the outside, around and up the inside to the groin area. Down, around, up, around, down, sticking that butt back, and up. 2 more. And now let's fly. So you shift the weight into your right leg from the hip crease, bow forward. Your other leg floats up, right? So you're having to use your butt muscle and your hamstring to keep that lifting leg from drooping. And once you get established, you can fly your right arm out to the right. And maybe someday you'll fly both, but be careful, please. Balancing, breathing. This is great for back strength. This is great for finding our center. This is great for sort of forcing that root quality that we're looking for in the single leg. And chest up, leg down, and we're back to middle. Shogun, or closing gesture. So we just sent the chi out, our awareness out, to travel through the body in sort of interesting ways, right? We did down dog, we did these 2 leg stretches, we did the balance challenge. So now we return to center. And then let's come back to this first side. All right, exercise 1, arms hanging if you can, touching chair if needed. Body weight change down through your right leg. Lift your left heel, get to the tippy toes. Let that leg go down, change. Once it's full empty, then tippy toe, down, change. So the heel comes up and goes back down, all while empty, change. Lift, lower, change. Cultivate your middle pivot. This feeling that there's a middle that you can rely on. That's a constant, which is what we're looking for. But a lot of times we go looking for this constant by holding on more. But the Tai Chi practice, let's go ahead to level 2. Hand on chair if needed. Disconnect. Place it down. Change. The Tai Chi model tells us we have to loosen and lengthen and open everything. That's the only way to cultivate the true central pivot, because we need to balance the idea of absolute stillness with its paradox, absolute freedom of movement. Both of those qualities have to be present for us to be doing this sort of supreme level movement. Whereas a lot of times we're doing one or the other, right? People are either too flexible and sloppy, or to a level 3, knee up higher, right? Or they're really stiff and sort of stuck, and so all their movement is rigid. So we're trying to find steady, precise, but not rigid, free to move, loose, but not sloppy. And we balance those components there, or those aspects. We remember primary direction down, right? Down through this leg. Now, stay down through your left leg, put right foot in front, and we shift. Let's do level 1. Get to the tippy toe of that left foot, and then shift. Get to the tip of the heel. Primary direction down through that right leg. That's what gives the freedom. And then down through your left leg. That's what gives you this freedom. Continue. The teacup on your head stays perfectly sort of stable, but not because you're tightening a bunch of muscles around your head and neck, but because you're loosening everything so well, this is over time, that there's such a stability through this chunwan, or soft and sunk and stable, that there's just no, rocking of the boat. Let's go level 2 here. So now your right leg is empty. From the hip, just do a little straight leg lift. Lower the heel back down and just change. And then this one, the little flamingo. Bend the knee, place the toe, shift. From the hip, lift lower and shift. From the knee, bend, touch, shift back. From the hip. From the knee. From the hip. Still got that steady center. Level 3, might need your chair for this one. From the hip and let the knee bend, but keep it soft, foot loose, right? Comes down, change. Once that's empty, both flamingo and knee forward and up, reach the toe back with no weight, and then change. The down allows for the up, and stays empty on the way down, and then it's the down that allows for the up. And what you can feel maybe is the simultaneous quality where, as you get better at it, as you're going down, this leg could be lifting at the same time, kind of, right? Whereas when we're first learning this, I'm having you guys go, okay, 100% establish, then separately bring the knee and return it, and then 100% first establish, then it's time to lift lower. But as you get better, you stack those events closer together so that it's as if they're almost simultaneous. It's like down and through and up happen at the same time. So now we're starting to see how Tai Chi can become fast. It can be simultaneous and yet no disturbance to your center. Down goes your foot and it's boom. Right? And so if this is rocking your boat by trying to add this idea, then go back to that first variation, taking your time with the separation. But just know that that's this next level of all these exercises. Let's switch sides. Weight in your right leg, left foot is empty, place the foot a little bit out in front, light. Change the weight, get to the tippy toe. You can even be practicing that stacking closer together here, where it's down and up, down and empty, down, empty, down, empty. So it's essentially one event, but you have to know the separate qualities. It's the seesaw. When one is going down, the other is able to then go up. But you have to have the down. If your down is off, you lose your root. Down. Down. Level 2. Lift, lower, switch into the lift. Down, the foot goes into the lift. So as that's going down, this could be coming up. The foot comes down, and then it's as you're changing, you're bending. Foot touch down. As you're changing, you're floating. Foot comes down, so it's all up. For one event, yet they have those two separate parts. Once more. Let's go to level 3. Slow it down first. Chun 1 through the right leg. Ching Ling in the left. Comes down. Chun 1, make sure you're all the way down through. Then you might be free to float that right knee. Comes back behind you. Change. So make sure again, Alicia, I'm not sure if you did it. Make sure you're switching legs, because you notice I'm doing inside leg to this chair. So that's my right, but it should be your left, right? That's inside and then down. And then we're changing. And then it's this outside leg up. Reach it behind you. Down through as this one rises up. And maybe you stack them somewhat simultaneous, down and up simultaneous, maybe. Careful with it though. Down, up. But you can feel the importance of the down. That's that saying, the primary direction has to be down, because without the down, the up is dangerous. Last one. And switch sides. So again, we're over on this side now, so it should be your right legs, my left, your right out in front. Level 1, we take one step forward. So change the weight to the right leg, left foot is empty, and just float that foot forward, and then change the weight into that foot. Then we go back. Change the weight to the right leg, left foot is empty, swing it back easy, change. Get to the tip of the heel. shift, step and empty foot, keeping it empty, shift. Primary direction is down, which allows the freedom of the movement, and then down. Middle pivot, stable but relaxed. Zhong zheng, or central upright, just naturally upright. You don't have to hold on to it when you've let everything get to the earth. It's just correctly placed. Again, like the idea of that blow up thing with the sand at the bottom, it gets back to a perfect upright, and it has nothing to do with anything above the root quality, the sand in the ground. It's that sand in the ground that organizes everything above. So let's really keep that idea of soft down. Level 2, this right leg, lift, lower, shift. As that left foot is empty, pick it up and step it up and over some obstacle, place it down, shift, and then flamingo that foot. And then we shift. This left leg comes up in front, bend, and reach behind. That forces us to find our equilibrium, and then we shift back. Right leg lift, lower, shift, left foot up and over, shift, right leg flamingo, lift, lower, shift. Now the simultaneous bit could be present here as well, where it's down and through as I'm stepping, down and through as I flamingo, down and through as I lift, be careful on the back step, down through as I do a little straight leg lift, down and through, over. So to the degree that you open this path to the earth, that's the degree that you will be able to move swiftly and safely. Let's go level 3. Knee up, down, down and through, heel, knee, foot, lower, then change the weight. Bring this knee up, toe reach back. We still haven't changed weight. Then down and through, lift, reach, still don't change weight. Right here, don't change. And then knee, foot. You could stack these if you want to, or just consider the idea of as that's going down, this is coming up. First, you got to find the floor, but then as your weight's going down, this could be coming up, stepping as the weight changes. So you're just kind of stacking these events of one more. Switch sides. Inside foot or left foot out in front, level 1. Change, step, change. Change, step back, change. Shift, step, shift. Let the quality of down and through to the earth be what you are learning to rely upon for everything above, for the organization, for the creation of freedom of movement, releasing to the earth, releasing, sort of grounding the electrical current. Level 2, left leg, lift, lower, shift, right foot up and over, shift, flamingo, shift back, right leg up, tuck, reach, shift back, lift, lower, shift, down. The down produces the up. So down, that can create the flamingo. Down, that creates the freedom of lift and step. Down, creates this lift. So maybe work on the simultaneous quality of level 3. Down. Down. Back. Down. Down. Always down. Create that stable, safe. Getting rid of top-heavy, tip-over quality, which is what usually is what gets people in trouble, is this upper body, top-heavy, swung around. Whereas when we don't even have anything up there, then all kinds of movement becomes free and available. One more. And back. Now, don't make any change. I'm just changing this here. So now I'm matching you guys. Let's all move to our left. Turn and face to the right. Empty one foot, put it in front. Level 1, walking, step. Walking, step. Walk. 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 Backwards, shift. Step behind with no weight, shift. Step behind, no weight, shift. Primary direction, down, down, down. Let's move forward. Level 1. So if you get one down, the other is empty. It is free to step. What a revelation, right? What a wonderful event to be able to have occur, and yet we overlook it. And no matter who I work with, people don't think about this. Whereas within the Parkinson's community, it's an absolute necessity that you learn this skill. But really, everyone should learn and understand how to move like this. It's just they can get away with it. Now, let's move forward with level 2. So we're going up and over a little obstacle. Now, just because the foot is coming up higher in space, it shouldn't make any difference to that feeling of ease and stability and groundedness. Now, it does usually, because we tense up and we yank the foot up because we haven't quite created the empty quality. But as you get that empty quality, you start to feel like, oh, it doesn't even matter how high I bring my foot because it's empty. And I've got one leg that's totally connecting me to the earth. So I don't need to add a bunch of force and clumsy movement and yanking on my tissue and joints. You can just float it. Level 3, if you want it, or stay with level 2. But this would just be exaggerating that thing I'm talking about, where if I've got this down through to the earth leg, then I can bring heel to butt, I can bring knee up, I can float foot out, I can lower it down, all without any disturbance to that quality of stillness and stableness. Then I change. No yanking, no whipping the body around. Everything's got to be smooth and polished. And then it can become swift. And we're just headed back. All right. Now turn and face forward again. We're all on the left side of our space. Change your weight to your left leg, right foot empty, step it out. Step it in. Step the foot out, but don't let your weight go with it. Now, the other mistakes people make is this. They reach too far and they touch with the toe and they turn their leg out. So try not to. Instead, step only the amount that you can get your heel and ball of foot down at the same time. In, out, and in a few more times. So we're going out, in, and feel your central upright connecting to the earth through your left leg, and your right leg is free. So can you speed up that movement like I'm doing? The only way to speed this up is to have it empty, because otherwise it's all this awkwardness and this rocking of the boat. So that speed comes from its empty quality. Now put it out there, change the weight. So now this is full, this is empty. Keep the heels down, keep the feet glued somewhat, and then change. So if you keep your feet somewhat glued, then you are forced to find qua. You're forced to find length in the tissue of this leg. Rather than if I let my heel come up, all that can stay closed and tight. So here we're trying to get like an accordion lengthening in this leg. And then as that one accordion's closed, this one accordion's long. And then, all right, so you start thinking of your legs more like accordions or springs rather than stilts. Now, stay in your right leg, bring left foot in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Bring it in, keep it in. So now feet touching if you can. This is a challenge. Change the weight through your left leg, right leg empty. Change the weight down through the right leg, left leg empty. Down through left, empty right. Down through right, empty left. Down through left, empty right. Down through right, empty left. Change. 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 Now, right foot empty, step out. Change. Once right is full, left is empty, left can safely step in. Change, step out. Change, step in. Change, step out. Change, step in. Change, out. Change. Reverse. Out. Change. Change. Find that middle pivot. Feel your central upright, that sort of unbroken central beam of support. And it's not a beam of a bunch of muscle grabbing onto bone, holding it. Instead, it's something more like your quantum middle, right? Let's go back and forth again. The sort of mathematical center line around which you are arranged. And what happens when everything around that is relaxed, right? This sort of central channel, you might think of it as a chi channel. If the chi is a thing, it exists kind of at that intangible level of existence. That's sort of the magical like thinking, right? So we relax, everything is loose, we're not holding, but we still have this middle that we get to rely on. And this middle, they say, can be like a battery, can be like, you know, charged up, or it can be totally deflated and we don't have what's called zhong qi or central qi. And so a lot of that time we have to fill our qi channels through good sleep, good diet, and other lifestyle behaviors. But how it shows up in our body is this feeling of central firmness and almost like a toned full state, but it's not a bunch of muscle activity. It's more like energetic fullness, right? So let's now come between the chairs. So you're right in between the middle of these chairs. Change your weight to your left leg, empty your right foot, turn your right foot out. Change your weight down through the right leg, empty left foot comes alongside your right foot, and now you quarter turn to your right. Empty the right leg again, filling the left, turn the right foot out, and then change. Weight goes down through the right, bring the left around. And then right foot turn out, change. Empty the left, bring it around. Change, change. It's another nice one for simultaneity. So now you can go down through left, as you're turning. So they happen together. And then as I'm changing, I bring my left foot around and my body all together somewhat, but not yanked, still smooth. Then it's change to the left as you turn that right foot out. And then change to the right as you bring everything around. And it's a 1, 2. So it's very efficient. It's actually fast, but it's not rush. And then it's ba-ba, and then you're there. And then ba-ba. So it's about precision rather than speed of effort. It's this relaxed, 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 relaxed. After you've gone around that third and final time, let's go to the left. Turn left foot out. Change. Left foot empties, turns. And this feeling of steady, steady, steady. Never not grounded, always grounded. Round by round, sloughing off, cleaning out, emptying out the agitation in the nervous system, the activity in the tissue and nerves, so that clear, empty. I forget the Chinese term, but there's a term for what our goal is, the visualization of bamboo, the empty space of bamboo, right? It's just spacious, empty, throughness, right? And so that's how we want our nerves, our tissue. We want that feeling of empty, of extraneous activity. Right leg, instead of turning out, turn it in and let your body kind of turn to arrange to that left corner. Change, bring the left foot to match. And then again, empty right foot, turn, change, bring the left foot to match. Right foot's empty, turn. Rely upon the standing leg stability when you do this whole turn. So try not to topple into your turning right foot, but instead rely upon the sturdiness of that standing leg and the freedom of movement of arms, torso, hips, and other leg, and then change, right? After 2 times, let's switch. We go left foot, turn in, and back. So the left foot is stepping, but not taking body weight because you're actually going down through the right leg. Then you're changing to the left. You're going down through the right. That frees the left up to move and turn. Primary direction down. Primary direction down. And it's not a down of pushing or forcing. Eventually, it's a down of total release. That's why it feels so good to practice Tai Chi, is it's just like, get it out, drop it out, clear it out. Now let's put all those together. Right leg turn out. The weight goes down through it as you bring around that left foot, pigeon toe. Turn, and then change the weight and turn the right foot, and the body turns out a little bit. And then we're shifting primary direction down, rotate. So notice with your eyes and your chest and your torso, you can get turned, 45 or 90 or more. And then you just kind of keep scanning the space, but try not to yank the body, right? Because what will happen a lot of times is this sort of like ka-chunk, ka-chunk. I'm exaggerating that, right? That sort of clipped, heavy. But if you think about it more like just soft and change the weight and just turn, no rush. Change, turn, change, turn, right? Turn, and then go the other way. And we turn left foot out. Change, make sure there's a good stability, turn the body, empty right foot, and then change so it's the right foot, turn, change, pigeon toe, And once you're facing forward again, shogun, wing up and over the top. Settle down to your middle. Now move over closer to the right chair. It's in front of you. Hand on the chair as needed. Empty your left foot. Touch the toe behind. Press the heel down. Release it. Step to parallel. Change the weight. Step behind. Toe touch empty. Now this leg stays empty even as I press. So try not to let the body go with it. Stay where you are in your left leg as you press that heel and then come back. Change. Touch. Press. Release. Step. Continue that, right? If you don't need the chair, hands go to the belly. So we're stepping, touching, pressing, releasing, together, behind, press, release, together. The one addition would be as I press my, this is my left heel, but it would be your right heel, you turn the head a little bit that way. And that creates this winding, this sort of twisting, wringing out of the body. And then we come back to neutral. And then we're stepping behind. As you press the heel, just turn the head and chest a little bit that way. It doesn't have to be much, but notice just a little bit creates this really interesting dynamic tension in the body. Press and turn and bring it out. All right, and we're back to neutral. Hands together, rub, back of hand, rub, back of other, rub, and qua. So pubic area, genital area, groin, up to these hip flexors, a specific little nook there, and then around tailbone, sacrum, up onto that lumbar as much as you can, and then sweeping down the yang channel, sitting like a squat around and up the inseam of the legs to the navel, the middle. And then from that middle again, qua, hip flexors, sacrum, lumbar, yang channels, yin channels, navel, qua, hip flexors, sacrum, lumbar, yang, yin. And yang channels over the shoulder, turn the arm off. So just think of this as a chi reset. This is how they say from, many years of observation. This is how the chi flows in the body. Yang, yin, switch. So we'll have to take their word for it to some degree, but I'll say after practicing many years, various different practices, from different traditions, I find this to be just right on. The Taoist view is very much just kind of observing natural tendencies and itemizing them. So finish with sink chi to the belly, shogun, closing gesture. And then here's our navel, seal, 1, 2. 3 breaths here. Remember that visual of the bamboo, emptiness. Right? A lot of times we fear emptiness, right? Because it's sort of an unstable state at first. But they also talk about how empty is actually full, right? 0 is both nothing and everything, right? So there's sort of paradoxical ideas. So letting yourself get cool with the idea that you're actually just emptying out everything extraneous in the mind, the nervous system, the tissue, and letting things return to just their natural, unblemished state. Being okay with that. And then we close with that Taoist bow, little soft grab of the thumb, fold the hand over. All righty. Thank you, everybody. Great job. If there are comments, questions, anything, feel free.